Well, here we go again, folks. I haven't much of a clue of what to say, but there's a fullness inside. There's just a sensing, there's a something. And I know through long years to go to the journal with it. Okay, I just saw something that was very interesting. There's a book out by an authority on such things indicating that China may well have come to North America well before Columbus in 1421. And I have no problems whatsoever making room for this possibility. Partly because I'm so familiar with the web of lies that has been woven around us and taken to be fact and made official, quote unquote, by being put into our histories and our books and textbooks and so on and so forth. There has been, or there once was, a tremendous prejudice against anyone who didn't look like us, whether they were Black, Asian, Polynesian, whatever. And most things were done by China before Europe. They were independent about it and not worried about beating their chests and crowing about their exploits. It's a very sad thing, though, in the 21st century that we should have books that don't openly acknowledge the discovery of gunpowder and various things by the first discoverers. And we've got to love truth more than anything else. And that's easily done when we're living in the now moment or in heart. I invite everyone into a love affair with truth, being willing to lay yourself wide open to anything that is true. Now, that doesn't mean you believe everything everybody says. It just means let's be open and drop our prejudices. A prejudice means to prejudge. Now, one of my prejudices that I've carried throughout my life is a prejudice in favor of a certain group, and that group I would call foreigners. I have always dearly loved listening to someone, anyone with a foreign accent, able to communicate in English, to share with me their perspective on things, knowing that their culture, their environment, their background, everything is different. And so their perspectives would be different. And so that's a type of prejudice too. I don't know. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth on that topic. There's a certain kind of a hurting going on inside. And it's not personal. I have to say, I'm feeling finally like I have come back from the energy adjustments, the large doses or changes in energy or frequency or whatever that I've mentioned that I perceived recently, one on 1028, another on 1111. Now, this is pretty convenient because I believe we have, I think, a lunar eclipse upcoming, and then we've got 1212. So I don't know that there's going to be any big deal with the 1212, but there was with the 1111. So who knows? It'll probably be bigger next year. This year was bigger because it was 2011. So the 12 will probably be bigger in 2012, but I'm just guessing. And you know what? That's just the mind. So don't pay it any attention. Now, there's a hurting going on now that I want to address. And it's this hurting that goes along with adjustment to a higher frequency. It seems that before we can move up into the faster rate of vibration, the things that are holding us back have to be addressed. I think a lot of us are finding it's a time of letting go. It's a time in a way, of things being jerked away from us, but in another way, it's a time of a very willing letting go that goes along with the vision that's really surprising. That something that maybe we thought we were really, really attached to, well, maybe it just isn't so. Or maybe the me that was attached to that isn't the me that I am now. Hard to put into words, but if you're listening from heart, and especially if you've had any of this experience, you'll get it. What I'd like to do is point out the blessing and the beauty in this pain. I think it's largely the mind that experiences this pain. I don't know. I know it's largely the mind that doesn't want to let go of things. Mind wants to feel masterful, in control, and mind's perspective is ever the past. That's what made it what it is everything that's gone before, and it identifies with it. And so it's often in the past in time. Whoops, get off the net. Okay. So, a letting go. I want us to celebrate our letting go, my friends. I want us to raise a drink of herbal tea and toast our invisible spiritual guides, beings of light that are working with us. Toast our own higher self. It's quite a journey. And it's a time of cutting all ties to anything that would hold us back. And that's not callous or cold. That's a physics that's ongoing here, because our vibration is accelerating. And as it does, our presence will make others more and more uncomfortable unless they're going along for the ride too. The very energy in your aura will either tip someone off if they're a fellow light being and at a compatible vibration, or it will hack someone off because the higher frequency energy is uncomfortable. The obvious picture to paint would be running too much current through a wire. The wire doesn't really do very well under those circumstances. Bad things can happen, So it's not too good for the wire's identity unless the wire gets itself an upgrade. And so I think, number one, what's happening is natural. And we need to take the personality thing out of it. First of all, there is no separateness anyway. So on a very important level, we are dealing with illusion. Not that your friends are an illusion, but that you're separate from them, or you ever could be. But, duality is not a dirty word. It's a very beautiful thing that we've taken part in, played a role in, and had our learning and our growth and all of our experience. It requires duality to have an experience. Otherwise, if you're just one and you're just whole, it's different. It's just different. And so we can know both. We can know that we're dual and we're having an experience with that, and we can know that we're the one and we're whole, and we can't really be touched by the duality. Everything in 3D, everything that can be seen, touched, and so on, has a birth and a death. It comes and it goes. It's transient. Everything, even suns and planets, stars and things. And so It has no lasting reality except in our experience of it, because we are eternal. And in our experience, we carry these things forward with us as a part of the experience. But it's not bad being dual. And I've seen any number of people go too far, I think, with the non-duality thing. They can really get off into space with that. Divine intoxication probably isn't something that you'll find mentioned or spoken of in the non-dual world. And yet, there are people, trying to think of his name now, there are people who have reached a certain level or measure of enlightenment that if your path or your awakening didn't bring you into divine love, then I reject it. I'm not interested. It's not real to me. It's not real for me. I think that there is a type of awakening that is very mental. And while I respect it, and while I even hope that I'll experience it one day, gotta remember to turn off the phone first. While I hope I'll even experience it one day, I don't need to. There are some people that are so cold, so amazingly cold, that they just don't find love to be a part of their experience. Now, I don't find anything in the cosmos isn't absolutely made of and composed of love at an underlying fundamental level. So how could, to me, it's just bizarre. It just blows me away. They've gone into some alternate reality somewhere or something. Now, this is from my perspective, but you know, that's what I give here. This is my channel and this is my journal. I have a lovely link I want to share with everyone this time. It's one of the finest graphical animations I've ever seen. Now, I'm not qualified by any kind of knowledge or experience to evaluate such things, but the universe is in each and every one of us. And this is an animator who displayed that so beautifully. It's very touching and it's very deep, and it gives us lots of room to ponder. Pondering's nice. Now, what is the I? Let me take a time out here and say, if that little blip of the answer machine bothers you, that's your mind. Step into heart. You'd be surprised. You won't even hear it. And if you do, it won't bother you in the least. Okay. How to expand out into the all. You are the all. So start by knowing it. It's a really good place to start. And if you don't know it, then do what you can to believe me here, at least temporarily, while you check it out. You are the all. And if we can start seeing the self this way, then real miracles will start to happen. Little things like everything is one. Everything is literally one. I'm talking physics, a higher physics, maybe that we haven't found yet, maybe that we have and it hasn't been translated out well enough into the culture yet. But everything is one. And as you hold your cup of water, your water bottle, whatever, to bless it, it's one with all water everywhere. And there's no reason your blessing needs to stop with what your body can perceive there. Why shouldn't the energy, the light, the love of your heart in your blessing go out and swim in all water everywhere? And not just the water that's on the earth, but the water beneath it. And not just the subterranean water, but the water that's in the air, in the clouds, in the moisture. And take it everywhere. Take it to the water in the plants, the water in the bodies, the water everywhere. All water is one. And you can call it into restructuring, into its native purity. Water is very, very responsive. And we have Masaru Emoto, among others, to thank for showing us this responsiveness. We also have cymatics that shows us the beauty of the patterns that the various tones make. And so everything is one, and you are that. And that empowers you tremendously. It gives you authority. If I am the one, then this water is the water that I am. This water is me. I have authority over it. If I know I have this authority over it, that's truly empowering. And you can feel it. You can feel it inside. And you can know when the divine will step in and step through you and give that blessing. It's another way of being danced and of being tutored from within. Now, just imagine if we get even just a few hundred, a few thousand of us looking, seeing, feeling, and thinking this way. You think maybe we could bring our brethren along? They're all one with us. We're all one with them. The I am that has a physics reality as well as anything metaphysical. I don't even know what metaphysical is anymore. I happen to believe that no matter what it is, there's a physics that will explain it. We either are at that level or we're not yet. That doesn't mean there won't be. I'm kind of not really a believer in the concept of miracles. If man has done it, man can do it. If it's possible to walk on water, we'll all walk on water if we choose to follow the appropriate path. Now, of course, at some point, it's not a path anymore. At some point, you realize, oh my God, I am that. And time is now. At that point, you just lost your path. Because a path is a linear concept. Whoops, one more word out of the lexicon. You know, over a long time. Now, this is wild. Now my sweet potato is telling me that it's done, and that timer is going to go off. I guess it's time to finish this video, my friends. I hope you'll find something useful in it. Blessings and blessings and blessings be unto you this now and forever. Those things were done by China before Europe. They were independent about it and not worried about beating their chests and crowing about their exploits. It's a very sad thing, though, in the 21st century that we should have books that don't openly acknowledge the discovery of gunpowder and various things by the first discoverers. Well, here we go again, folks. I haven't much of a clue of what to say, but there's a fullness inside. There's just a sensing. There's a something. And I know through long years to go to the journal with it. Okay. I just saw something that was very interesting. There's a book out by an authority, and we've got to love truth more than anything else. And that's easily done when we're living in the now moment. or in heart. I invite everyone into a love affair with truth, being willing to lay yourself wide open to anything that is true. Now, that doesn't mean you believe everything everybody says. It just means let's be open and drop our prejudices. A prejudice means that has been woven around us and taken to be fact and made official, quote unquote, by being put into our histories and our books and textbooks and so on and so forth. There has been, or there once was, a tremendous prejudice against anyone who didn't look like us, whether they were Black, Asian, Polynesian, whatever. And most on such things, indicating that China may well have come to North America well before Columbus in 1421. And I have no problems whatsoever making room for this possibility, partly because I'm so familiar with the web of lies